The accident had been 2 years ago. Julian Croft shielded me with his own body, and his leg shattered. While he was in the operating room, I vanished without a word. When we met again, his foot connected with my chest, a brutal, solid impact that sent me stumbling back. I tried to push myself up, but couldn't quite manage it. A weak, insolent smile stretched my lips. Seemed Mr. Croft's recovery had been a success. The force behind that kick was substantial. It felt like it had nearly ruptured the one kidney I had left. "Leo," Julian said, his voice a low chill from above me, "I should thank you for running away." He told me that if I hadn't, he wouldn't have healed so quickly. I got the message loud and clear. My betrayal had fueled his recovery. Hate, it seemed, was the ultimate motivator. I imagined him in physical therapy, pushing through the agony late at night, driven by the thought of one day tearing me to pieces. With a grunt, I finally forced myself to my feet. I told him there was no need for thanks, but that his people owed my friend an apology. My gaze shifted to the young man cowering behind Julian. Julian's leg might have healed, but his taste in companions had taken a nosedive. This kid, emboldened by his connection to Julian, had taken over the shop lease. Instead of a civil discussion about the rent increase, he had jabbed a finger in Marcus's face and called him a useless mute. I'd lunged for that finger, ready to snap it, but Julian's kick had sent me flying before I could. Marcus, my silent friend, was now held by Julian's bodyguards, his face flushed with helpless rage, only muffled, frustrated sounds escaping his throat. Julian's eyes were mercilessly cold as he remarked on my audacity, touching someone he considered his. He warned me not to expect the same indulgence as before. I wanted to laugh and say I never had, but the humor died in my throat. I just lowered my gaze and mumbled that the kid had insulted my brother. I couldn't let it slide. Julian scoffed. He questioned if Marcus was just a brother, suggesting that I had abandoned him at the hospital 2 years ago for this very person. He closed the distance between us in 2 strides, grabbing my collar and hoisting me up. His voice was a low growl, laced with genuine curiosity, as he wondered what I would do if he crippled Marcus too. He asked if I would just discard him as well. Julian's face was so close I could feel the heat of his anger in his breath. It wasn't an empty threat. He was utterly serious and possessed the power to follow through. It was true. Anyone who got close to me seemed to court disaster, while my absence brought them prosperity. With the resources Julian now commanded, crushing us would be easier than squashing 2 insects. I forced a painful, placating smile, telling Mr. Croft to calm down. We would be gone in a couple of days, I promised, out of his sight for good. Julian released me and lit a cigarette. Grayish smoke veiled his sharp features. He flicked a finger, a silent command for his guards to release Marcus. His new terms were clear: pay the overdue rent or move out now. Marcus rushed to my side and immediately tried to lift my shirt, but the thick winter layers bought me a moment. I pressed his hand down before he could expose the scars, turning back to Julian. I explained that we had too much inventory in the storage room and nowhere to move it today. A year ago, Marcus and I had fled to this forgotten Rust Belt town and pooled our money to open a small surplus goods store. Business was just starting to pick up when our landlord arrived with Julian and his entourage, announcing Julian as the new owner. The new owner had taken one look at my face and declared the rent was doubling. That would ruin us. Julian had gone out of his way to come here, to buy a dilapidated storefront with no resale value, all for the sake of revenge. He was nothing if not thorough. Julian's gaze fell on Marcus's hands, and his tone grew even colder. He suggested the street had plenty of space. I managed a dry laugh, asking if leaving our inventory on the street wasn't just another form of charity. I pointed out that the town's more opportunistic residents would have it all carried away by morning. Surely Julian wasn't so cruel as to leave us with absolutely no way out. Clinging to that sliver of hope, I tried to charm him, reminding him of our past connection and asking for a 2-day extension. I cursed under my breath, chewing on the filter of an unlit cigarette. Marcus and I squatted on the curb beside a mountain of cardboard boxes. The wind was a physical force howling down the street. A few older folks lingered a respectful distance away, their eyes fixed on our belongings like vultures waiting for a carcass. I shook out a cigarette and handed it to Marcus, telling him we were in for a long night. First thing in the morning, I'd find a new place. Marcus touched my side gently, his hands beginning to move in the clumsy, self-taught sign language he developed since losing his voice 2 years ago. "Are you okay? We should go to the hospital." I shook my head, assuring him I was fine, that I wouldn't be dying anytime soon. He gestured again, his movements sharp with anger. "That guy, was he your boyfriend 2 years ago?" I blew out a stream of smoke and looked down. I told him Julian wasn't a boyfriend, more of a savior, a benefactor, and now an enemy. Marcus's hands flew, agitated. "Does he know the truth? About the accident? About what your body went through for him?" "He doesn't know, does he?" The cold air hit the back of my throat, making my breath catch. I whispered that he would never know. Later that night, I sent Marcus to sleep in our beat-up cargo van while I wrapped myself in a blanket, leaning against the cold cardboard. I didn't mean to reminisce, but the biting cold of the early morning kept me awake. To fight off sleep, I let my mind drift back to the day I met Julian. It had been a day just as cold as this one. I'd been beaten severely and had just managed to crawl out of a drainage ditch onto the road before collapsing. As I lay there, freezing to death, Julian appeared. He wore polished black leather shoes and a black, knee-length cashmere coat, impeccably tailored. His height and long legs made him seem like a specter. Half conscious, I thought he was some kind of elegant grim reaper coming to collect me. A grin split my lips, caked with snow and mud. I remember thinking that this reaper was devilishly handsome, and I was more than willing to go with him. Julian told me later he thought I was trying to pull an insurance scam. The idea made me laugh. I'd asked him what kind of scammer gets himself beaten half to death first. Besides, a scammer just wants money. They don't offer to go away with you. My laughter always had a predictable effect on him. He'd pinned me against the floor-to-ceiling window of his apartment, his hands sliding under my shirt. He'd asked me then why I did it. I cut him off, claiming I was robbing him. I'd brazenly pushed him down onto the sofa, telling him I wasn't after his money, just him. He had stared at me for a long moment before flipping us over, reclaiming control. Julian had the cool, pale skin and aristocratic features of a man who was above such base desires, yet he spent his nights exploring them with a ferocious intensity. I had successfully dodged his question, but the price had been steep. It was strange. Why did the memory of something so painful still make me smile? I lifted my numb right hand and slapped my own cheek. "Leo, don't be so pathetic." My fingers came away cold and damp. I slowly opened my eyes. A thin blanket of soft white covered the street. It was snowing. A figure emerged from the veil of white, walking towards me. Black leather shoes, a black knee-length coat. I sighed with a weary smile, still stuck in the dream. "Leo." The figure was standing over me now, looking down. "Do you regret it?" Julian's face was rarely animated by a smile, and his silence alone could drop the temperature of a room. Now, looming above me, He looked like a stern judge about to pass sentence. I tilted my head back to meet his gaze, snowflakes melting on my eyelashes. I knew what he wanted to hear, but I couldn't say it. "Leaving you," I said, blinking the moisture from my eyes. "I don't regret it." The melted snow felt like tears. I saw his hand, hanging at his side, twitch before clenching into a fist. He let out a short, harsh laugh. "Remember what you said today." He dropped his cigarette butt to the ground and crushed it under his heel. "Leo," he said, "the day will come when you crawl back to me, begging for forgiveness. And that day is coming very soon." It was a bitter irony. The last time Julian had appeared like this, he had saved my life. This time, he was here to destroy it. I had no doubt he would succeed. So when I was rejected by more than a dozen landlords in a row, I wasn't surprised. Marcus slumped onto a box, defeated. I clapped him on the shoulder and forced a cheerful grin. I told him it was no big deal and that he should take the van and make the deliveries we already had scheduled. I'd figure out what to do with the rest of the stock. The van was a second-hand wreck that took Marcus 3 tries to start. He signed to me, "Don't forget your medication." I slammed the door for him and waved, telling him not to worry and to drive safe. After the van disappeared in a cloud of black smoke, I sorted the remaining boxes by category and began selling directly from the sidewalk. If I couldn't have a store, I'd have a stall. Once the inventory was gone, I'd find a new place to start over. I just scrawled prices on the cardboard when a crowd formed. Many of my household items were cheaper than the local superstore, and by lunchtime I'd sold a quarter of my stock. Just as I was getting into a rhythm, a few burly men pushed their way to the front. The one who spoke, the owner of a nearby big box retailer, was clearly unhappy about my discount pricing cutting into his business. I offered him a cigarette, asking him if he saw anything he liked, offering him the wholesale price. He cursed and his men raised their baseball bats, threatening to smash everything if I sold one more item. The customers scattered in fear. It was only then that I noticed the black Bentley parked across the street. The rear window was down, and a man sat in the shadows, watching the scene unfold like a play. A pale wrist extended from the window, a cigarette held between long fingers, ash flicked to the pavement. I recognized the watch on that wrist. A Vacheron Constantine. Julian used to take it off every night, afraid it would scratch me, and place it on the nightstand next to the worn leather cord that held my half of a silver dollar. Two objects of vastly different worth, sharing the same space, just like us. A baseball bat poked my chest, right where Julian had kicked me yesterday. I winced, putting the cigarette I'd offered between my own lips. Lowering my eyes, I told them to back off. I didn't want to fight. Not because I couldn't, but because I couldn't afford the medical bills. The man sneered, his face a mess of leering flesh. He mocked my slender build, making a crude comment about my stamina. A hot rush of anger surged through me. Couldn't hold back. I grabbed the bat, twisted it from his grip while he was still laughing, and jammed the end of it into his mouth. He stared in shock for a second before spitting out a mouthful of blood and broken teeth. He screamed for his men to get me. Clubs swung at my head. I dodged the first few blows, but a kick to the back of my knee sent me to the ground. As I looked up, I caught a glimpse of the Bentley. The rear window was slowly, smoothly rising. In that instant, a heavy blow landed squarely on my back. A starburst of pain exploded through me. I gritted my teeth, planting a hand on the ground to stay upright. My head bowed to hide the cold sweat pouring down my face. The window closed completely. My heart plummeted. All the fight went out of me. "Julian, I thought someone is doing your dirty work for you. You must be pleased." The expected final blow never came. Instead, the sharp wail of a siren cut through the chaos. A police cruiser, followed by a city code enforcement vehicle, screeched to a halt, boxing us in. Cops piled out, shouting for everyone to freeze. 2 officers hauled me to my feet. The world swam in a sea of white for a moment. I blinked, and with a shameless grin, asked one of the officers if they could help me move my merchandise to the station. It wouldn't be safe on the street. The officer scowled, asking if I thought the police station was my personal warehouse. A code enforcement officer chimed in, informing me that I was in violation of city ordinances and that they would be confiscating my goods. As I was shoved into the back of the cruiser, I yelled back at them to be careful with the boxes marked fragile. The car door slammed shut, cutting off their angry replies. The heater in the cruiser was blasting. I rested my forehead against the cool glass, feeling drowsy. In the rearview mirror, I saw a black sedan following the convoy of official vehicles. Was it Julian? Was he here to save me, or to make sure I was locked away for good? A bitter smile touched my lips. It had to be the latter. In the interrogation room, an officer tapped his pen on the table. He said the other guys claimed I started it. I replied that they had instigated the conflict. The officer asked for a witness. He pointed out that their leader was missing 4 teeth and bleeding, while I appeared unharmed. He told me to lift my shirt so they could check. I glanced at the one-way mirror on the wall, my hand clenching the hem of my shirt. The one person who could corroborate my story was likely standing on the other side of that glass right now, but he would never speak up for me. There was a soft knock on the door. After a few whispered words, the officer left. I heard familiar, measured footsteps. Julian walked in, as composed and immaculate as ever, while I looked more pathetic with each passing encounter. He asked the same question as before. Do you regret it? I remained silent, my mind drifting, wondering where on earth I could run where he wouldn't find me. He continued, his voice flat. You knocked out 4 of that man's teeth. At $5,000 a tooth plus other damages, you owe him at least $50,000. Otherwise, you're facing detention. Do you have the money? I answered honestly. No. Leo, Julian's voice was laced with a thick, cold scorn. You're always so impulsive. Just like 2 years ago. You foolishly assumed I'd be a cripple, that I'd have no more use to you. Is that it? No, that wasn't it at all. But when you've already been judged, silence is just another form of confession. Julian's hand came to rest on the back of my neck, the grip as inescapable as a hawk's on a rabbit. He whispered for me to think long and hard about what I'd done. He said I deserved to be taught a lesson. The next day, I understood what he meant. 37 days in a holding cell, the maximum penalty. Marcus was denied visitation rights, which meant I couldn't get my medication. After the kidney removal surgery, I'd never fully recovered my strength. My anemia was chronic, and I needed medication to keep my blood count stable. 37 days without it. By the time I got out, maybe I really wouldn't last 3 minutes. On the 38th day, Marcus was waiting for me the moment I stepped outside. His eyes were red, his hands a blur of frantic motion that made my head spin. You look terrible. It's all my fault. I tried everyone I could think of, but I couldn't get your medicine to you. We're going to the hospital right now. They can take my blood. I weakly balled my fist and bumped his chest, managing a raspy laugh. I reminded him he had no idea what my blood type was. A random transfusion would kill me faster than anything else. I told him it wasn't his fault Julian had interfered. I knew he was behind it. Mustering my strength, I told Marcus it was time to go get our stuff. But when we arrived at the code enforcement office, our boxes were gone. A clerk handed me a piece of paper, explaining that they didn't have room for our inventory. He said a kind benefactor had offered to store it for us, free of charge. The address was on the paper. Marcus and I stared at the address. It was our old storefront. The kind benefactor was Julian. When we got there, the warehouse door was wide open. Julian sat on a wooden crate in the center of the vast, empty space. His long legs were bathed in the light from the doorway, while his upper body remained cloaked in shadow, like a patient predator waiting for its prey. He was in complete control. I took a deep breath and walked inside, plastering a sincere smile on my face. I thanked Mr. Croft for his help and told him we would take our things and never bother him again. Marcus and I each picked up a box and turned to leave. Leo. Julian's voice stopped us cold. At his word, 2 of his bodyguards blocked the exit. Do you regret it? My back was to him. I said loudly that of course I regretted it. I regretted fighting. I'd learned my lesson and was a reformed man. He asked if there was anything else. My voice dropped. Nothing else. Very well. Julian's laugh was a cold, sharp sound. He waved the guards away. You wanted to move your things, so move them. Yourself. Marcus, hearing this, immediately started for the door with his box, but was shoved against the wall by a guard. The box crashed to the floor, the sound of shattering glass echoing in the warehouse. A river of cheap liquor spread across the concrete. I shook my head at Marcus, signaling him to stay put. Then, in silence, I picked up a box and began the long walk outside. Over 70 boxes. A 250-foot round trip. The temperature was in the low teens, but sweat was soon pouring down my face. My pace slowed, my muscles screaming. Julian didn't rush me. He always had been a man of immense patience. He watched, his expression unreadable, as I lifted a box, then set it down again, unable to carry it further. Mr. Croft, I gasped, leaning against a stack of crates. I told him that as a customer in his establishment, the least he could do was offer a glass of water. Sweat trickled into my eyes, and the pain in my chest radiated through my entire body. I looked up, and through my blurry vision, I saw Julian's expression shift. A slight frown creased his brow, a flicker of something like confusion in his eyes. What a cheapskate. Was a simple question so offensive? I waved a hand dismissively, my smile strained. I told him not to be angry, that I would continue now. The words caught in my throat. Bright white spots exploded in my vision. The gray concrete floor spun and rushed up to meet my face. My eyes fluttered shut, then open again. How strange. Why was Julian running towards me? And why did he have such a look of terror on his face? As if he was afraid I was going to die. Leo, was that Marcus's voice? I opened my eyes and saw his face hovering above me. I mumbled, "Your voice is back." Marcus didn't seem to hear. His brow furrowed with worry as he pulled me up from the bed. He whispered urgently that we had to run, that Gus was going to sell my kidney. So it was a dream of the past. A time before Marcus was mute when I was still whole. Marcus shoved a roll of worn bills into my pocket, cursing. He said I was the unluckiest bastard he knew, getting stuck with such a rare blood type. First my blood, now my kidney. And Gus, my supposed godfather, was the one selling me off piece by piece. Gus, full name Gus Warren, found Marcus and me when he was 45, already the kingpin of the city's old north side. He took me in, but he didn't care if I lived or died. I dropped out of school at 15 and learned his trade of petty scams. After one injury, a hospital visit and a blood test revealed I was Rh negative, type AB. The look in Gus's eyes changed that day. His network was vast. Beggars, thieves, hustlers. All paid him tribute, in cash or information. He'd heard that the scion of a wealthy family was sick and needed my exact blood type. For 6 years, I was Gus's cash cow. This time, Marcus had overheard a call. The rich kid's kidneys were failing. He needed a transplant. Marcus pushed me towards the door, telling me to run and never get caught. I took a step, but the floor gave way beneath me. I woke with a jolt. My eyes opened to Marcus leaping up from his chair and bolting from the room. The idiot didn't know how to use the call button. A doctor arrived moments later. He informed me sternly that a person with a single kidney should not be doing heavy manual labor. I managed a weak grin. I knew. He continued, his tone softening slightly. Severe anemia. We don't have any Rh-negative blood on hand, so we can only manage it with medication. You need to rest. I thanked the doctor. As he left, Marcus bowed to his retreating back. I called his name, asking him how he got me here and if Julian knew about my condition. Marcus sat on the edge of the bed and began signing. No, when you collapsed, that guy was scared stiff. He didn't even notice me. I just threw you in the van and drove straight here. He probably didn't even realize what was happening until we were long gone. I pulled a hand from under the covers and gave him a thumbs up. Then I slowly sat up and swung my legs over the side of the bed. Let's go. Time for my discharge. Marcus protested, trying to push me back down. Just then, the door to the room flew open with a violent crash, slamming against the wall. Julian strode in, his lips a thin, hard line, his eyes burning with a cold fury. He looked at Marcus and ordered him to leave. Marcus stood his ground, his neck rigid, gesturing wildly at Julian. Ultimately, he was no match for the bodyguards, who escorted him from the room. What is wrong with your body? Julian demanded, his voice tight. I clenched my fists under the blanket, fighting back a wave of emotion, a stinging in my eyes. I told myself I had no right to feel this way, so I put on a brave face, laughed it off. I said it was nothing, I just hadn't eaten enough in lockup and fainted from hunger. I thanked him for his concern. His frown deepened. He started to say it was impossible, that he had specifically told them. He stopped, a realization dawning on him. Did someone hurt you in there? He moved toward me, grabbing my wrist. His command was sharp. Take off your clothes. My heart hammered against my ribs. I tried to remain calm, telling him no one had hurt me, that he was overthinking things. I was fine now, ready to be discharged. His fingers were like iron bands. I struggled, wincing in pain. Before I could protest further, he abruptly let me go, stepping back as if I were contagious. I should have been relieved. Leo, don't be so dramatic. I tilted my chin up, affecting a nonchalant air. We'll just forget about the rest of the merchandise. Consider it a storage fee. From now on, you go your way and I'll go mine. Not enough. I stared at him. What? Julian's face was a storm cloud of rage. He advanced on me, his words like sharp stones. 4 years ago, I saved you. I took you into my home. 2 years ago, in that crash, I threw myself in front of you. I would have died for you, Leo. And what did you do? While I was on the operating table, you ran. His eyes were bloodshot, his voice raw with fury. He backed me onto the bed, his hand closing around my throat. What you owe me, how will you ever repay it? I couldn't repay it, so I let him squeeze, thinking that this might finally be the end. But then, just as suddenly, he released me. He leaned over me, his gaze pinning me to the mattress, his voice a hoarse whisper. You can never repay what you owe me, Leo. Don't even think about running away. He was right about everything. I could never repay him. The night Marcus woke me, I took the few $1,000s he'd managed to skim from Gus over the years and I ran. I made it to another state before a local gang cornered me, took my money, and then tried to rip the cord from my neck. I fought for it, and they beat me for it, leaving me for dead in a drainage ditch. I crawled out and met Julian. He took me home. His doctor, a private physician from Europe, treated my injuries. His apartment was warm, spacious, and so clean I was afraid to breathe too loudly. Yet he let me sleep in his soft bed. My bones ached, but I couldn't stop smiling. I felt like meeting Julian was the universe finally paying me back for 18 years of misery. After I healed, he hired tutors for me. I dropped out so young. After a few months of intense study, he paid my way into a decent private college. I remember clutching my new backpack, grinning like an idiot. I told him a street punk like me going to college was something I'd brag about for the rest of my life. He ruffled my hair and pulled me in front of a full-length mirror. "You don't look like a street punk at all." And I didn't. The clothes were custom-made, the fabric's fine. I'd gained some weight. My face was fuller, my eyes bright. The defiant hardness in my features had softened into a youthful energy. Julian looked at our reflection, his fingers gently tracing the dimple on my right cheek. He said he would give me back the 18 years I never had. He would raise me all over again. He told me, dead serious, to call him Dad. The young man in the mirror flushed and called him a pervert. Back then, I thought Gus would never find me. I thought I could stay by Julian's side forever, just being his guy. But that wasn't how it worked. My face was wet. Just a physiological reaction to the choking and coughing, I told myself. I wasn't sad. Not at all. So why did my chest ache so much it felt hard to breathe? "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Now and forever." Those were the only words I had left. Don't think you can get away with just 3 words. With that, Julian hoisted me over his shoulder and strode out of the hospital room. Dizziness and nausea washed over me. Through the haze, I heard a nurse protesting that the patient couldn't be discharged. Julian's reply rumbled through his chest and into my ear. "We're transferring him. He needs a full workup." "No." I struggled, kicking and screaming for him to put me down. He ignored me. My feet slammed into his chest and stomach, but he didn't even flinch. He carried me all the way to the underground parking garage and shoved me into the back of his Bentley. He blocked the door, turning to his driver and bodyguard and roaring at them to get lost. I scrambled for the door, yelling for help. Julian's laugh was cold as he climbed in after me, his body pressing me down. "Leo, besides me, no one can save you." I was so cold, I couldn't stop shaking. Brute force wasn't working, so I tried begging. I pleaded with him, calling him Mr. Croft, asking him to let this go, to save me one last time by letting me disappear. Call me shameless, spineless, whatever he wanted. Just let me out of the car. I begged him not to get involved with me again. "Please, Julian." In the dark car, his eyes gleamed like polished jet. "Save you?" he said, his voice cruel. Then why did I tell them to leave? In the next second, his mouth was on mine. A bruising, desperate kiss that was more of an attack than an embrace. The taste of blood filled my mouth. I shoved him away, my eyes staring blankly at the car's ceiling. I tilted my head back, exposing my throat. Right here then, I rasped. "Just kill me if it makes you feel better." "Leo." He sounded defeated. He issued a final, frantic threat, me not to force his hand right here in the car. "You're the one forcing me," I choked out. "Julian, I beg you, let me go. Forget me." His face was a mask of anguish, his jaw tight. He opened his mouth to speak, but the Bentley jolted violently. The front of the car had slammed into the garage wall. The vehicle that hit us didn't slow down, its tires screaming against the concrete. After a few more deafening roars, its engine cut out. Julian and I got out. The van behind us had its high beams on, blinding us. I squinted, hearing a voice I never wanted to hear again. "Long time no see." Gus climbed out of the van, his words dripping with menace. "My good son." The blood drained from my face. I was afraid of Julian finding me, and I was afraid of Gus finding me. But my deepest fear was Gus discovering that Julian was still a part of my life. Gus had already ruined me. I couldn't let him ruin Julian too. I glared at him, my voice tight. "What do you want? I missed you is all. You ran 4 years ago, and then you ran again 2 years ago." As he spoke, Gus casually stuck a hand in his pocket. I recognized the shape of the object nestled there. A crude, homemade pistol he'd carried since I was a teenager. He advised me to stop running. "Stay with your godfather. I'll take care of you forever." Take care of me? He wanted to drain me dry. I told him this was between us, that it had nothing to do with anyone else. I turned to Julian, urging him to leave. "Oh, don't go," Gus said with a chilling smile. "I have this handsome young man to thank for finding you." From the back of the van, a familiar figure emerged. Julian frowned. Evan. I remembered him then. The boy who had been with Julian at the shop, the one who had insulted Marcus. Gus grinned at me. "This young man knew we were looking for you. He was kind enough to lead us right here." What a coincidence. Evan pointed an accusing finger at me, his voice trembling with indignation as he spoke to Julian. "I told you he was no good, Julian. A punk like him needs to be taught a lesson. How could you break up with me for him?" "Shut up." Julian's roar silenced Evan instantly. Evan was an idiot, but he didn't deserve to die for it. I forced a smile. He didn't break up with him because of me. Mr. Croft and I barely know each other. I tried to push Julian away, telling him to get out of there, that this was none of his business. I told him to leave. Something I said must have struck a nerve. He grabbed my wrist, his grip crushing. His voice was a low, vicious snarl. "You're right, we're not close. So you have no right to push me away. Did you really think I came looking for you, forcing you to say you regret it because I wanted you back?" He gave a contemptuous laugh that held no humor. "You train a dog for 2 years and it learns loyalty. But you're untrainable. You deserve to be abandoned, to be a stray dog kicked to the curb." I stared at him, stunned, as he delivered the final blow. "Leo, I was planning to trick you into coming back just so I could throw you away again. It was all a lie." A ringing filled my ears, my throat constricting. I managed a bitter, twisted smile. I felt like the world's biggest fool. The words that had been branded on my heart now felt like open wounds. "I would have died for you. You don't look like a street punk. I'll give you back the 18 years you never had. Besides me, no one can save you. You can never repay what you owe me, Leo." Was this how I was meant to pay? By letting him trample all over me? Julian turned his head, refusing to look at me. "You wanted me to let you go? Fine. You can get lost now." Gus opened the van door. "Let's go, son." Before he could finish, the sound of police sirens echoed from the garage entrance. A voice on a loudspeaker ordered the kidnappers inside to come out with their hands up. Gus cursed, grabbed Evan by the hair, and slammed him against the van. "You called the cops." Evan, terrified, sobbed that he hadn't. I stepped forward. "Gus, let him go. I'm the one you want." Gus shoved Evan away and forced me into the van. "Just some cops. We'll ram our way out. The buyer's all set up. Just like last time, we fly out of the country for the surgery. He got into the driver's seat and looked back at me with a cold smirk. You're worth a lot of money, son. All your parts. I was silent, but my eyes darted towards the entrance. I saw the glint of tactical gear. The police were planning to end this here. Just as a sniper raised his rifle, Evan spotted the SWAT team and ran towards them, screaming for help. Gus cursed, jumped out of the van, and fired a shot in Evan's direction. Evan crumpled to the ground. Another team of officers appeared behind Julian, trying to pull him to safety. But Gus, consumed by rage, turned the gun on Julian. As he was about to fire again, I launched myself out of the van and tackled Gus to the ground. You're not killing anyone else, I screamed, wrestling with him for the gun. Amid the struggle, I heard the sound of approaching footsteps, shouts of freeze, and Julian's terrified roar, Leo! Bang, bang. 2 gunshots exploded in my ears. For a moment, all sound in the garage ceased to exist, replaced by the ragged, trembling sound of Julian's voice. Leo, get up. Don't you dare scare me like this. As the officers pulled Gus's heavy body off me, I realized the second shot had come from them, which meant the first one. I stared dumbly as Julian fell to his knees beside me, pulling off his coat and pressing it hard against my stomach. The first one hit me. It didn't even hurt. Why was Julian shaking so badly? Julian, I whispered, my voice thick with blood. You always said I could never repay you. I think I just saved your life too. Does this make us even? If it does, let's not meet in the next life. My vision started to fade, my eyes growing heavy. My voice sank to a murmur. I regret it, Julian. If I had never met you that day, if I had never let you take me home, things would have been better. Julian froze, his lips parted in shock. I had finally admitted my regret, so why didn't he look happy? He pulled me into his arms, holding me so tightly I thought my soul would be squeezed out of my body. I was floating now, looking down as the ambulance arrived. At the hospital, Julian was barred from the operating room. He stood in the stark white hallway, covered in my blood, a terrifying and pathetic figure. Marcus came running from the end of the hall, his face a mess of tears and snot. He grabbed Julian's collar, incoherent sounds of rage pouring from his throat. Julian just stood there, head bowed. With a surge of strength, Marcus slammed him against the wall, his hands moving in a furious tirade of sign language. Julian couldn't understand, but I could. Which side did he get shot on? He only has one kidney. If it hit his kidney, he's not gonna make it. A doctor burst out of the operating room, shouting, "You're the family? The patient only has one kidney. Why didn't you say so before?" Julian looked as if he'd been struck by lightning. He looked up, his voice a strangled whisper. "One kidney? What do you mean?" The doctor disappeared back into surgery. Julian scrambled to his feet, grabbing Marcus. "What does he mean, one kidney? He was fine 2 years ago. What happened to him?" He must have pushed Marcus too far. Marcus hauled off and punched Julian squarely in the face. Stunned, Julian didn't retaliate. Marcus looked at the red light above the operating room door, then slumped against the wall and pulled out his phone. I floated over and watched him type. The car crash 2 years ago was not an accident. The car that hit us was driven by Gus. He'd strolled over to our wrecked car and peered through the shattered glass. 2 years. You made your godfather look for a long time. He'd found out that Marcus had helped me escape, but no amount of beating could make Marcus talk. Finally, Gus had shoved a burning piece of coal into his mouth. You want to be a hero, kid? Fine. Then don't ever talk again. 2 years after I ran, Marcus was made mute. Because of me. Gus had found a bank card on Marcus, one I'd had him set up so I could send him money. Through the transaction records, Gus found me. He had his men drag me from Julian's car that day. He'd said, "You're not hurt. Lucky you." The guy in the car, though, not so much. I had screamed at him, asking what he wanted. He gave me 2 choices. 1, I go with him, fly out of the country, and donate my kidney. In return, he'd make sure Julian got to a hospital. Maybe he'd even live. Or 2, I could walk away and he would sell Julian off for parts. He glanced at Julian, unconscious in the driver's seat, and smiled. Choose. I never had a choice. I told him I'd go, but I had to see Julian get to the hospital, see him taken into surgery. Only when the light above the operating room door turned red did Gus drag me away. On the plane, for more than 10 hours, all I did was pray. I prayed Julian wouldn't die. I prayed he would walk again. That's why, when we met again and he kicked me, a part of me was happy. Truly. Julian had saved me. He had given me the 2 best years of my life. He didn't die because of me. He wasn't crippled because of me. He was whole. And that was good. It would have been better if he'd just left after kicking me. Then I wouldn't be in pain. And neither would he. Right now, Julian looked like he couldn't breathe. He clutched Marcus's phone, his hands shaking so violently he could barely hold it. Leo. He slid to the floor, all his composure and authority gone, repeating my name over and over. I didn't know any of it. How could this happen? You're such a fool. Such an idiot. He looked up at the operating room door, his voice breaking. Leo, you have to be okay. I'll protect you from now on. I'll take care of you. Just give me another chance. The door opened again. A doctor asked urgently if any of the relatives were Rh negative, type AB. The patient needed a massive transfusion. Marcus shook his head, a fresh wave of sobs racking his body. I floated down beside him, amused. You're an ugly crier, you know that? Julian rushed to the doctor, pushing him back towards the operating room. Go save him. I'll find the blood. Just go. He fumbled for his phone, then barked into it, ordering someone to check every hospital for Rh negative AB blood, to find donors, pay whatever it takes. Fly it in. Now, I drifted to his side. I wanted to tell him to stop. It would be okay to just let me die. I was so tired. Abandoned as a baby, I had to cry my lungs out just to survive the cold. I was picked up by a monster. Then I had to fight just to live, to make money without hurting anyone, to avoid another beating. After I escaped from overseas, I found Marcus. He gave me a new reason to fight. I had to get him help to make sure he had a good life. I tried so hard, for so long, but I could never quite get ahead. Now, on the verge of death, I finally felt a sense of peace. Don't save me, Julian. I don't want to owe you anything more. After the 3rd time the doctors came out to say I was critical, Julian's people managed to find several bags of blood. Hours later, I was in the ICU. Julian and Marcus stood side by side, peering through the glass. Marcus, being shorter, was on his toes, craning his neck. Julian spoke, his voice low and flat. I'm here. You should go get some rest. Marcus turned and glared at him, his hands a flurry of angry signs that nearly hit Julian in the face. He typed furiously on his phone. You have some nerve. You're the reason we don't have a place to live. Julian's face tightened. In a voice barely above a whisper, he said, I'm sorry. Marcus wasn't finished. He continued typing, poking Julian in the ribs with his elbow after each sentence to make him look. You threw us out on the street in the dead of winter. Leo's health is fragile. He gets sick every winter. How could you? You watched him get beaten. You let him get arrested without speaking up for him. You let him sit in jail for over a month without his medicine. Do you know he's anemic? Do you know that without his medication he gets dizzy, he feels sick? He could die. The color drained from Julian's face. His proud shoulders slumped. He leaned forward and rested his forehead against the cool glass of the door, murmuring apologies over and over. He said he didn't abandon me, that he paid the medical bills and had arranged for my care in the facility. Marcus typed again. Some care. You made him move all those boxes by himself. Don't you know that's the worst thing for someone with one kidney? Were you trying to kill him? Julian's face was ashen, his eyes red-rimmed. He said nothing, his gaze fixed on my still form inside the room. A nurse came out and handed Julian a small object. I'm sorry, she said. The cord broke during the resuscitation. He can't wear it now anyway. You should hold on to it for him. It was my half of the silver dollar. As Julian reached for it, Marcus lunged, trying to snatch it away. He failed and shot Julian a look of pure hatred, his hands signing a string of curses. I sat on the windowsill down the hall, chuckling to myself. Later that night, a man appeared at the end of the ICU corridor. He was tall and handsome, dressed in a white shirt, a camel-colored coat, and gold-rimmed glasses. His lips were pale, though, and he looked unwell. Excuse me, the man said politely. The patient who just came out of critical condition, the one with Rh-negative AB-type blood. Is he in here? Julian frowned at him. Marcus was already nodding. The man asked if he could see him. I floated in front of him. Do I know you? He didn't answer, but I found myself staring at his face. It was strange. We'd never met, but he looked so familiar. Who are you? Julian asked, his tone wary. Why do you want to see him? I'm Dr. Elias Vance, from North City General. I was here for a consultation and heard about his injury and the need for blood. He pulled a leather cord from around his neck. On it hung the other half of a silver dollar. He said, the person in that room is very likely my brother. Couldn't believe it. If Gus and Evan weren't both dead, I would have sworn this was another trap. I floated closer and I could see it clearly. His half-dollar coin and mine would fit together perfectly. Could he really be my brother? Impossible, Julian said, moving his hand that held my coin behind his back. Leo said he was abandoned as an infant. How could a brother suddenly appear? What do you want? I am also Rh-negative type AB. I just donated 400 cubic centimeters of blood to him. Elias's expression didn't change. His voice was steady. My motive is to save him. Julian was speechless for a moment, then recovered. A blood type and half a coin prove nothing. Please leave, or I'll call security. Elias stepped forward, not back, meeting Julian's hostile gaze. And who are you? You're not the one who hurt him, are you? Marcus nodded vigorously beside them. Julian's face grew impossibly dark. Elias continued. My brother has a birthmark on the inside of his left ankle, about the size of a quarter. It's reddish-brown. I came here only to confirm that. Holy hell. I had that exact birthmark in that exact spot. He really was my brother. I had a brother. I actually had a brother. My excitement was not shared by Julian. He looked furious, like a man who had just discovered something he thought was exclusively his actually belonged to someone else. He knew about the birthmark, its size and location, but he still tried to send Elias away, insisting it proved nothing until I woke up and they could do a DNA test. I flew around them in a panic. I knew Julian. He would move me the second Elias left. Take me somewhere no one could ever find me. Think, you idiot, think. Suddenly, a shrill alarm blared from inside the ICU. The heart monitor flashed red. Doctors and nurses rushed in, surrounding the bed. I flew in after them and saw my own pale face on the pillow. And I finally understood why Elias looked so familiar. We looked so much alike. As I was grinning at this realization, a powerful force pulled at me. The world spun, and then I was opening my eyes to a white ceiling and a circle of worried faces. Someone grabbed my hand. It was Julian. He was rambling, saying my name over and over, but I didn't want to hear it. My gaze drifted past him to the man standing behind him. I pulled my hand from Julian's grasp and reached toward Elias. From behind the oxygen mask, my lips formed two barely audible words. Brother. When the DNA results came back, Julian's expression was even fouler than it had been the day I woke up. Elias Vance was my brother. It was official. He had me transferred to his hospital in North City, where he could look after me personally. Nurses would stop by my room, whispering about how Dr. Vance had finally found his little brother after searching for more than a decade, and how handsome we both were. During that time, the pain was a distant thing. Even during dressing changes, I could grin through the sting. Elias, however, did not smile. He'd look at my wound, his face a mask of cold fury. He told me to stop smiling, that the bullet had grazed my kidney. An inch to the side and I wouldn't have gotten to meet you, bro, I'd say, trying to cheer him up. That's why I'm so happy. I'm lucky. I didn't die and I have a handsome, brilliant brother. I plan to live for a good long time. Elias would pause his work. Many, many years he'd correct me. And don't ever let me hear you use the word die again. Yes, sir, I'd reply. Marcus would knock and gesture towards the hallway. I'd glance at my brother's stern face and keep my own expression neutral. I knew Julian was out there. He'd been keeping a tireless vigil outside my door, a door he wasn't allowed to enter. My brother wouldn't permit it. Elias had heard the whole story from Marcus, including the part where Julian saved me and was injured for me, but family loyalty trumped objectivity. My brother hated Julian Croft. Don't even think about forgiving him, Elias said as he expertly tied off a fresh bandage around my abdomen. Someone who truly loves you could never, under any circumstances, bring themselves to hurt you. I nodded with a small smile. I know, bro. It wasn't really about forgiveness anymore. My history with Julian was too tangled to assign blame. What I wanted now was a clean slate. It was time to say goodbye to the past. Elias looked me in the eye. When you're discharged, we're going to the courthouse to change your name. I said that would be great. My grin so wide my eyes disappeared. I wouldn't be a Warren anymore. I would be a Vance. I liked the sound of that. On the day I was discharged, Julian was finally waiting for me at the door. He had lost weight, and a dark stubble covered his jaw. Leo, he said, his eyes scanning me from head to toe. He attempted a smile. Are you all healed? How are you feeling? Before I could answer, Elias cut in coldly. Mr. Croft, please return to your own city. You're blocking the way. My brother is still recovering and shouldn't be standing for too long. Honestly, I was mostly fine, but Elias was overprotective. He'd wanted to bring a wheelchair or carry me to the car. I'd refused both out of sheer embarrassment. Julian looked like he wanted to say more, but the words wouldn't come. All the arrogance was gone, replaced by a cautious, hesitant demeanor. He had changed. So had I. It's okay, bro, I told Elias. I just want a quick word with him alone. Elias nodded. I'll take the bags to the car and come back for you. Once we were alone, I looked at Julian and noticed his eyes were red. I'm sorry, Leo. I never should have tormented you, throwing you out on the street like that. I shouldn't have hurt you. I shouldn't have. His voice trailed off. He took a few deep breaths before continuing. Can you give me a chance to make it up to you? Sunlight streamed through the hallway window, warm and calming. The scar from your kick faded a long time ago. It doesn't hurt anymore. And the scars I have now, they're not all your fault. I smiled at him. Julian, I'm doing really well now. I don't need you to make anything up to me. His voice trembled. Can't we go back to how things were? I watched a fat little bird perched on a branch outside. But what was so great about how things were? Shouldn't the future be better? Julian, my name isn't Leo Warren anymore. I'm a Vance now. For 22 years, I was a Warren. Do you have any idea how much I hated that name? It was like a chain, a constant reminder that I was raised by Gus, that I was a punk with no future. As long as he was alive, no matter how hard I tried, I was always afraid he would drag me back. But now things are different. I found my brother. I found my real name. And my future. His expression was pained. Can't I be in your future? When I look at you, I remember the past. I said with a gentle, resigned smile. Let's just leave it, Julian. My brother was right. Someone who truly loves you could never hurt you. But I didn't want to talk about love with Julian anymore. I just wanted a fresh start. To make a life for myself. Elias returned. As I got into the car, I saw Julian standing alone in the cold wind, a dwindling black figure in the rearview mirror, until he disappeared completely. After a month of recovery at my brother's house, my new ID and official documents were ready. Elias clipped the new page with my name into his family registry book. Leo Vance, he said, welcome home. I took it from him, grinning, and saw that there were more than just 2 pages inside. Are these Mom and Dad? Yes. Elias sat beside me. They were traveling, and the old hotel they were staying in caught fire. After their funeral, I kept their pages. A sharp pain went through my chest. Was it because they were looking for me? After a long silence, Elias nodded. Don't be sad, Leo. Mom and Dad would be happy to see you home. It's not too late. He told me I was 6 months old when I was taken. My parents were busy with work and had hired a nanny from out of town. The nanny's family had financial troubles, so she stole me, intending to sell me. But no one would buy me. My parents had already reported me missing. Panicked, she abandoned me in a corner of the old North Side and fled. Sometimes, life is just that cruel. But as long as you're alive, there's always hope. Elias wanted me to rest for a few more months, but I enrolled in a community college program for e-commerce. I started a small online store to practice what I was learning. That fall, I brought Marcus to the city to manage my warehouse. By the time I graduated, I had opened a second store. As the business grew, I started to travel more. And several times in different cities, I would see a familiar figure. Tall, thin, in black leather shoes and a black coat. Once, through the window of a coffee shop, I saw him bathed in the light of the setting sun, his shadow long on the pavement. We were a world apart, separated by a pane of glass. And that's how it should be, I thought. The story of Leo Warren and Julian Croft was over. Leo Vance didn't need a savior. He had a future of his own.